Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into this thing. All right, folks, Super League or Power 2, we're going to talk all about that. There's been a lot of discussion about it. Before we get started, though, boy, I made a mistake yesterday, and did I hear about it? Woo! I put this out there, and I misspelled monster, and for some reason, in my brain, it's M-O-N-S-T-O-R. I've done this before. This is not the first time I've misspelled that word. And did I hear about it? Woo! Here's a guy that said, monster, STJ needs to go to school outside the state of Tennessee. And then another guy said, monster, really, UT education.
How dare you?
Why is Tennessee being blamed? Yes, I went to UT. Yes, I got a degree from there. But y'all don't need to take it out on Tennessee. I screwed up. They didn't teach me to misspell monster. Yeah, and they definitely made fun of me. Didn't hurt my feelings, though.
Oh, look at him, fellas. You crying, boy? You crying, boy? Maybe we'll go back down to McDonald's and get you a Lamburger and some French fries. How about a Weineken?
But anyway, let's get into the show. Man, you just cannot make a mistake on YouTube. You just can't. All right, now this Super League versus Power 2, you know, what's going to happen here? Ever since this House settlement happened, everybody kind of thinks, well, that'll probably solve some problems, and then we'll move into these bigger conferences. The House settlement didn't settle anything. All that was the NCAA getting sued into oblivion and having to agree to something to settle these class action lawsuits. Otherwise, they were going to cease to exist. So the second a player is deemed ineligible to receive money through Deloitte, which is the clearinghouse for NIL, the second that happens, that player is going to sue. And for anybody else they do to, they're going to sue. And they're going to win. Because you cannot stop somebody from making money in the United States. There's the Sherman Act. It's over 100 years old. It's an antitrust act, and it doesn't allow people to conspire to keep prices down and to keep payrolls down and all that. You can't do that. You can't collectively decide, oh, we're only going to pay this amount of money. This is not Russia.
Danny, this isn't Russia. Is this Russia? This isn't Russia, is it?
Nah.
I don't think so.
That's right. It's not. Danny Noonan knows. So when that blows up, and it will, we're going to be heading to collective bargaining. And speaking of the University of Tennessee, who told us that? Danny White and Donde Plowman.
I'll say it. We got a camera on us. I don't really care at this point. Collective bargaining is the only issue. It's the only solution.
It's the only way we're going to get there.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
You're not going to be able to settle it any other way. So when that does occur, this $20.5 million, which won't be enough, because $20.5 million is about 10 to 20% of what most schools bring in, and most of the money comes from football. Well, in the NFL, the players get 48%. So we're going to have a huge turnover with this. Now, granted, basketball is part of that revenue as well, and they'll get some of it too. But the reason they set it up that way, they want to keep all the other sports funded. Well, once there's a union and you've got a union head, they're not going to care about any of that. They're only going to care about the revenue producing sports. So it's going to be a real issue keeping all these other sports going, whether it's golf or tennis or rowing or whatever these different sports are. They're going to struggle. And there's going to be a lot of schools that just can't compete on a really high level because they're going to want to keep those sports going. So you're going to have the haves and the have-nots. We've already kind of got that now, but it's only going to get worse when you get into revenue sharing and you have collective bargaining. Then you're really going to have the haves and have-nots. And we've got a lot that's getting ready to happen. Obviously, once the House thing blows up, there's that. Then in 2030, the ACC, which is one of the only 4 Power 4 conferences left, things are going to implode there. You've got several big-time schools that are going to exit the ACC. The money that they receive from that conference is just not enough to compete with the SEC and Big Ten. So FSU, who tried to sue to get out, there was a settlement with an amount that they could get out by 2030. Their contract with ACC and ESPN runs through 2036 for some reason, which is incredibly long, and it's just not enough money. So in 2030, FSU or any other team in the ACC can get out for $75 million. That sounds like a lot of money, but compared to what they're losing by being in that conference, all that can be made up over time. And the other problem is they're looking to get into one of the Power 2 conferences before things get bad. because at some point when you're playing musical chairs, the music stops and you'd better be in the Big Ten or SEC, just in case. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go down to just 2 conferences, but if it does, do you want to be on the outside looking in? So those 2 teams, FSU and Clemson, you've also got North Carolina and Virginia. Now, they're not as big a name as far as football is concerned, but they're a huge market, and they're fresh. Nobody's in North Carolina, nobody's in Virginia as far as Big Ten, SEC, and they would love to pluck those teams. So I would say all 4 of those teams will be gone by 2030, somewhere in that neighborhood. And this will fit perfect for the Big Ten because their contract ends at 2030, which is Tony Petitti's done a great job. Whether you like him or dislike him, he did a great job because he's a TV executive. He knows how these things work. And he got a great deal for the Big Ten, and they make more money than anybody. And this is what they get per year, and it changes, actually goes up over time. But you can see the Big Ten, SEC have big advantages, and that includes the college football playoff. Now, for the SEC, their contract runs through 2033, so there's a 3-year span there where the Big Ten's probably going to have a brand new contract that's even bigger. They're going to wind up with a bigger gap than just the 5, 6, 7 million.
Hey, that hurts.
But those teams are going to look to jump. Now, I would say the Big Ten will take at least 2. The SEC will probably do the same. So 4 of the teams in the ACC will be gone by 2030, which is going to gut the ACC because it's going to be their top 4. Then you're going to have Miami, Virginia Tech, NC State, Georgia Tech. They're going to be either looking around or they're going to be the big dogs that remain in the ACC. And I've thought a lot about that. Rather than go to a Super League or a Power 2, which might very well happen, I would rather see all 4 conferences survive. I think the Big 12 can survive the way they are now. I don't think they're going to go in there and try to take a bunch of Big 12 teams, the SEC and the Big 10. And then once they've kind of stripped the ACC, there'll be enough teams in there, quality teams, to where it can survive. They'll just need to pick up some more teams like they did with Stanford and a couple others they picked up about a year ago when they were basically needed an insurance policy in case FSU and Clemson left. But I like the idea of keeping all 4 conferences. Now, what this takes you to is this 4-4-2-2-1 stuff versus the 5+11 in the college football playoff. I'm a big proponent now of 5+11. When I first heard the 4-4-2-2-1, I kind of liked it because of the play-in weekends, and I've shown you that. In both the Big Ten and the SEC, you'd have play-in weekends at the end of the year. You take the top 6 teams in the conference. 1 and 2 are automatically in. They play for the title. Then 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5, etc. And the Big Ten does the exact same thing. That's an exciting weekend, and that kind of got me fired up. But then I thought it through, and I heard from the ACC and the Big 12, they hate it, despise it. And the reason being, it perpetually puts them as little brother, and on top of it, it humiliates them. And I don't like that. These are proud universities and teams, and their fan bases deserve more respect than that. And with the 5+11, they can still participate, start out from the same starting line as everybody else, and then by the end of the year, you have your 5 conference champions that are in, no bye, and then you bring in 11 of the remaining at-large bids. And it's based on rankings and the committee. And I'm okay with that as long as they take strength of schedule into consideration, which I believe they will moving forward. What this does, it allows the Big 12 and the ACC to stay involved as a Power 4 conference. It doesn't turn it into communism where you go, oh, well, these number of teams out of this conference are guaranteed in even if they suck or if they're great. And what I want in sports is for everybody to have the same opportunity from day one. I don't want somebody putting their thumb on the scale for a conference. I don't like that. And Tony Petitti, for some reason, has fallen in love with this. I guess it's because of that play-in weekend. And he wants to force this on everybody else. Well, the SEC's against it. The Big 12's against it. ACC's against it. All 3 commissioners do not want it. And Tony Petitti, when they agreed that the SEC and the Big Ten would have total control over the college football playoff, They agreed that they would listen to the Big 12 and ACC and let their input have influence on them. Well, Tony Petitti's not done that.
Double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lloyd. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Lloyd, you guys!
And that's unfortunate because when you've got all three conferences saying, we don't like this, let's do a more fair thing, which is 5 + 11, just let the chips fall where they may. Quit trying to gerrymander everything. Well, Tony Petitti's like, nope, not going to do it. My way or the highway. Tony, it's just not going to work that way. So we may be stuck at 12 another year. It's also going to cost tons of money to every single school because if you go to 16 teams, you get 6 more ball games in the college football playoff. And this is how much money every team gets distributed to them because of the college football playoff. Well, these numbers will all go up for every single team by adding those 6 games. It also brings about 10 or 20 more teams into the mix at the end of the year that will have a chance to get into the playoff, which is great for TV ratings and more money. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, you should get a bye if you win the conference championship. You know what your bye is? If you're number 1 through 8, you get to play at home. That's a huge advantage, and you get to play a lower-ranked team. So, for example, if you're number 1, you get to play the 16th ranked team at home. You should whoop their butt. And you deserve that because you had a better record during the year and a stronger record. And you got ranked higher. And you won a conference. So that's your advantage, and that's more than enough. And the money that will be brought into your community and your city is monstrous. That's the other amount of money that nobody talks about. If you have those 8 games, let's say there's one at Tennessee and Knoxville. How much money do you think that brings into the city of Knoxville by having a huge playoff game? It would be monstrous. I mean, that's just tens of millions of dollars poured into that city. Same thing if it's in Columbus or if it's in Alabama, Georgia, Athens, whatever. It's monster money for everybody involved, and it's great for those cities. So Petitti needs to get out of that stubborn mindset and just be fair about it. Listen to the other 3 conferences and just do it for 2 years. They're talking about doing it for 6 years. That's a terrible idea. Do it for 2. See how it goes, and then if you're upset, it's not like you're stuck with it for some long period of time. You can get in there and argue all you want. You still got 50% of the say, and see if you can change minds. And there may be enough evidence for you to do so and go to this 4-4-2-2-1 thing. But I'm just not a fan of it because, again, I don't think we need to go down to 2 conferences. And I've thought a lot about it. I think it's just a bad idea. And we certainly don't need a super league because it'll just turn it into the NFL. And I don't think college football, even though we're going to probably have to go to collective bargaining almost certainly, there's still a lot to be gained by having these other conferences and having the whole country be involved. If we go to a super, it's going to all get concentrated into the big teams, and these other teams are going to be left completely without direction, for lack of a better way of saying it. It's bad. And all these fan bases that are just as passionate, everybody thinks about SEC and Big Ten and then a few in the... Look, everybody's fan base deserves something. They deserve something to get excited about. And being able to get in that playoff is huge for a lot of these teams. And that shouldn't be taken from them with this Super League crap. So there's going to be a lot of talk about it. Right now, I'm against it. Now, maybe something will happen. Things are changing so quickly. My mind can be changed on it. But as of right now, I want to keep all 4 conferences, and I want to go to the 5 + 11. And I think that's fine for the Big Ten. It's perfectly fair for the Big Ten. It's not like they're going to get creaked out of something. So anyway, that's my position on those 2 things, and it may change. Like I said, that we are in the most dynamic, fluid situation in college football we have ever been in since the beginning of it. And where we are right now is not where we're going to be in 5 years. It's going to be dramatically different, and as evidence comes in over time, that's going to influence what I think and probably what you think. But anyway, I did want to cover this and talk about it a little bit. If you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me know. Continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, boom, boom. That button right there won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here is a video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. Something to do with the algorithm. I'm always fighting the algorithm. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk J.
Who are you?
I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you.